Minecraft spawns an infinite map every time you create a new world. But with a game as expansive as Minecraft, it's important that you get the best FPS possible. My name is Yadullah, you're watching Candid.Technology, and in this video we're talking about how you can improve your FPS in Minecraft.
Now, Minecraft will run on just about any system, but in order to get the most out of it, having a good FPS is very important. Now, to adjust FPS settings, you just need to go to settings and then click on video, and here are all the settings that you need to adjust. So we'll scroll down and you can see all of these sliders here. So we have things like beautiful skies, render clouds, fancy bubbles, fancy leaves, camera shake, in-game player names, although this doesn't really affect FPS. But you can change different things, but the biggest thing that you need to change is render distance and anti-aliasing. So render distance is how far ahead of the world or your FOV do you see, and the lower this distance is, the faster the game will run because it doesn't have to load as many blocks or as many chunks into the computer's memory. So I have this set to 27 chunks and it gives me a pretty stable 140 FPS. But if you're on a lower end machine, you can drop this down to around 10, 11 chunks, and that should be it. Honestly, you'll have to experiment to find the sweet spot where you can see enough for you to take action if something's coming your way, and not so much that you don't need, because realistically speaking, if you're on a lower size, if you're a lower end computer and you have a smaller monitor and things like that, you don't really need a render distance that much. So you can set this to 10 or 12 chunks. In extreme cases, you can even drop it down to 5 chunks, which is the minimum render distance. So you can experiment with the slider to see what works best for you. The next thing is maximum frame rate. So this is currently an experimental feature in Minecraft Bedrock, but you can try playing around with this. So this makes sure that the game isn't capped. So for example, if this is set to, let's say, 40 FPS and I have a 144 Hz monitor, I will definitely not get as many FPS as I can. So it's generally advised that you set this to whatever the maximum limit of your monitor is, but you can just leave it at unlimited, and that way the game will not limit any of the frames that it's getting. You can try and put it just on the edge of what your monitor is capable of, and in some cases it will get you a more stable frame rate. But in most cases, your two choices are either to leave it at unlimited or to set it at your monitor's limit. Next up is anti-aliasing. So anti-aliasing, as you might know, is how sharp or ragged the edges or corners in your gameplay appear. This massively affects performance in the game. So I have set it to 4. If you have a higher end PC, you might want to set it to 8 or 16. But if you have a lower end PC, you might want to drop it down to 1 or 2. And that's about the maximum that you can get away, so that you need to find that balance between having a good looking game and also having a game that runs better. So you can set it to 1 or 2, and Minecraft is a very blocky game by design, so it may or may not be that ragged of an experience, but you can still experiment with the slider to get what's best for you. Finally, you can try disabling all of these toggles. You can disable fancy leaves, fancy bubbles, render clouds, beautiful skies, smooth lighting, and fancy graphics. These are the main ones that affect your performance. So as you can see, if I try and enable it, fancy bubbles columns may lower performance on some devices. So you can try and enable these. So beautiful skies and render clouds are also the same thing. Smooth lighting, fancy graphics. This is all like bottom of the barrel stuff though. Like if you do not get the game running, or if you cannot play it, it's running at unplayable frame rates, that's when you enable all of these things. And once you find the perfect combination that strikes a balance between how good the game looks and how well it runs, you can experiment around with these settings, and that's the best way for you to boost your frame rate in Minecraft. Other things that you can try out to improve your FPS is to make sure that your video card or your graphics card drivers are up to date. So I have an NVIDIA graphics card for which I will launch the NVIDIA GeForce Experience utility right here, and I can check for graphics card driver updates. Generally speaking, your graphic card driver will be up to date in most cases, but you can head over to the driver section here and click on check for updates, and this will make sure that you have the latest update possible, or if you have an update, it will check for it and ask you to download it. As you can see, I have the latest Game4 City driver available, so I don't really need to take any action. Other than that, you can also keep an eye on your computer's processes. So if I right click the start menu here and click on Task Manager, you can see that my CPU is currently being used 100%, 94%, 86%, and memory is also pretty full. This means that there is not enough room for the game to run smoothly. So you can try closing some background processes here that you're not actively using. For example, I'm not actively using AnyDesk or the Autodesk desktop licensing and the hundreds of Discord, Epic Games Launcher, and things like that. So you can try closing them down so that there are more resources available for Minecraft to run properly.
If you like these videos, consider subscribing, give us a thumbs up, press the bell icon, and tell us in the comments below what more such content can we bring for you. If you want to know more about tech, visit our website, Candid.Technology. Follow us on social media, follow me on Instagram or Twitter, and we'll see you in the next videos.